everyone. We're going to find the derivative of the function using the definition of the derivative. We're also going to state the domain of the function and the domain of its derivative. So g of t equals 1 divided by square root of t. Basically, the domain here is 0 to infinity. All right, because it's a square root, so it has to be 0 or greater, but since it's in the denominator, it can't be 0. So that's your domain for that. We'll go over that in just a minute. So basically, this is your formula for the derivative. I have these on my Facebook page if you ever want to save any photos of the pictures I have on my videos. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to have g prime of t. Now this has x, so we're just using t. So this is going to equal the limit as h approaches infinity. And what we're going to do is substitute in 1 divided by x plus h. In our case, we're going to use t plus h because we're dealing with t right here. So it's going to be square root of t plus h. And then you subtract your whole function, which is going to be 1 divided by square root of t, all divided by h. Now let's go ahead and get our common denominator. We have the limit as h approaches 0. And our common denominator is going to be square root of t plus h times the square root of t. And then to fix this so they share the same denominator, you can just cross multiply like that, or the butterfly method. So this is going to be square root of t minus square root of t plus h. Now this h here goes down below here, but I can move it up here. So just put it there. That makes it a little easier. All right, now from here, let's go ahead and take our numerator and multiply this by the conjugate, because we're going to have to get rid of this h in the denominator. So that's going to be square root of t plus square root of t plus h. And the denominator, you have to do the same thing. Square root of t plus square root of t plus h. So here we have this. We're all multiplying this. This form here is just a squared minus b squared. So we're going to square this and square this part. So we're going to get the limit as h approaches 0 of square root of t squared minus square root of t plus h squared, and our denominator is this long thing, h times the square root of t plus h times the square root of t, and then times t plus square root of t plus h. For now on, except for this h part, I'm going to call this d for denominator, because if I keep having to write this down, it's going to take too long on the video. So I'm just going to call this d and first simplify my numerator. So we have the limit as h approaches 0, and this is going to be t minus t plus h. And then this is going to be h times your denominator. Again, this whole thing here is what I'm calling d. I'll put it back in just a minute. Well, this is going to equal the limit as h approaches 0 of negative h divided by h times your denominator. Well, what happens is the h's cancel out and you get negative 1. So now we have the limit as h approaches infinity of negative 1. And now let's do our denominator. We have square root of t plus h times the square root of t times square root of t plus square root of t plus h. All right, let's go ahead and apply our limit for the h's. So that's going to give you equals negative 1 divided by square root of t times the square root of t, because this will just be 0 there. And then we have square root of t plus square root of t. Oops, not 2, but t. Let's do that. All right. Now, let's see. Simplifying this is just going to be t. This is going to be 2 square root of t. So you have this equals negative 1 times 2 t square root of t. Now I can rewrite this. So if you have t to the power of 1 times t to the power of 1 half, which is what this is, we can write this as t to the power of 1 plus 1 half, which is 3 halves. So I can rewrite this as negative 1 divided by 2t to the power of 3 halves. And that's it. Thank you. Have a nice... Oh, we got to do the domain. So basically for the domain, let me see if I can squeeze it in here. No, I'll just do it on the next one. All right. So the domain of G equals our domain of G prime, or the derivative of G. And it's like I said at the beginning of the video, it's 0 to infinity. Or you could say that it's t is greater than 0. Okay, there's your domain. Thank you. Bye-bye.